How we as Christians can use our minds to create the life that we desire. Your imagination is a gift from God. Hello family, hi everyone, how are you doing? Welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome to another episode of Young and Saved. This is a place where we talk all things Jesus, all things God, creating and growing a relationship with God as young people. I'm so excited for today's episode. I hope you are going to enjoy it. And if you haven't joined the family, kindly subscribe and click the bell so that anytime I upload a video, you are the first one to know. And always feel free to share your thoughts, because your opinions, they matter, and I always make sure that I read and reply to all your comments. Okay, today's topic is imagining with faith, how we as Christians can use our minds to create the life that we desire. So obviously today's topic was sparked by last episode about manifesting, where we were sharing the dark side of manifesting, the dark side of these words of law of attraction, mantras, affirmation, doing things or attaining the things that we want using these new age words. Okay, so I thought it wouldn't be fair for me to just say don't practice law of attraction, don't say these worldly words, or don't read the book The Secret, without offering you the alternative, like, okay, what should we do? So this is why we are having today's conversation. The key point that I want to stress out before we go any further is that your imagination is a gift from God. Okay, God created everything. He created so many things, animals, he created a lot. You can go to Genesis, try to read the story of creation, of how God created things. Okay, but out of all the creatures that God created, as humans have the ability to imagine. He gave us our minds to think, to imagine. Okay, so your mind is not just there to limit you, it's just there to go to church, just there to do the things, small things in life, just to accept your situation. No. You are created in God's image. God created himself when he created us. He created mini him, okay? And that mini him is us. So imagine you being God or God's child. You are able to do the things that he did. I'm going to give you brilliant examples of how God created, or of how God imagined things and brought things into the physical world that we see, brought things into existence. Okay? Number one, the Bible tells us that the world was chaotic. It was dark everywhere. Okay? And God was not happy with what he was seeing. And he thought, what's the first thing that I should do to bring order to this world? He imagined, okay, we need light because it's just dark. He imagined how the world would look like with the light on. Okay? So when he was finally convinced, he decided to speak the word and said, let there be light. And there was light. And then God separated light and darkness with day and night. And the Bible tells us that when he saw that it was good, then God went to the next day to create another thing. And he also saw that it was good. Then another day he created something until he came to us. He created us, and then he saw we were good. Okay? So God used his imagination to create, to form the world. He created it first in his mind, and then he spoke it into existence. You understand that these words that are now being used, like bring things into existence, manifest things, they didn't start with the devil. It's just that the devil is diverting them. The devil is mixing them in, and is just lying to people. These things started with God. Okay, another perfect example is Abraham. We all know Abraham was old. Him and Sarah, they were old. They didn't have kids. Almost reaching 100, no kids. And God gave them a promise that your kids are going to be as many as the dust of the earth, meaning you can't even count them. But God saw that Abraham couldn't really comprehend. Abraham was having hard time seeing what God was seeing. And God decided, I need to show him something else. Something, you understand? Then one night, God took Abraham out. He said, come out. And he said, look up. He looked up. And he said, what do you see? He said, stars. He said, can you count them? And Abraham counted them. Counted the stars until he couldn't count them anymore. And God said, as far as your eyes can see, so shall your offspring be. After God showed him the stars, Abraham was like, it's fine now. I'm holding on to the promise of God. You understand? So God wanted to paint a picture. He wanted him to see what he was seeing as God. So God started this thing of picturing, vision boards, all these things that we are doing now, that they look like the world is the one that invented them, or so and so is the one who invented. It's God who envisioned, it's God who started them. Okay, another example is the story of Caleb and Joshua, and this story is coming from Numbers chapter 13. You can read, it's 13 to 14. You can read the whole story, but I'm just gonna read a few verses. So God had already given the Israelites the promise, but now they were in the wilderness, okay? And they didn't understand. What do you mean you have given us the land that flows with milk and honey? What do you mean you've already given us Canaan? We are not there yet. What are you saying? And one time then Moses decided to send 12 men from 12 tribes of Israel to go and spy and see how Canaan looks like, okay? And among those 12 men, it was Caleb and Joshua. Numbers chapter 13 from verse 17 to 20. Verse 17, Moses gave these men instructions as he sent them out to explore the land. Go north through the Negev into the hill country. See what the land is like. Find out whether the people living there are strong or weak, few or many. See what kind of land they live in. Is it good or bad? Do their towns have walls, or they are unprotected like open camps? Is the soil fertile or poor? Are there many trees? Do your best to bring back samples of the crops you see. Oh my God. This is a perfect example of visualization. Moses sent this man and he said, go check the land, go and explore this land. This promise that God said, oh, I'm going to have this, we're going to have this, we're going to live in this land. Go and check if really God is telling us the truth, okay? Check if the land is good or not. If the land or the soil is fertile or not. Do they have many trees? Are their cities protected, or they're just open? And then the last instruction says, do your best to bring back the samples of the crops you see. So that these people that are here, that are complaining, that don't believe that God has promised them something big, can see. Bring the sample. You understand? This is so brilliant. God, through Moses, wanted them to see that the promise is real and the promise is there. And guess what? They came back, and 10 came with a negative report. They say, oh, we saw these giants, these big giants. In our eyes, we are grasshoppers. They are big. They can devour us. But Joshua and Caleb, they said, no, we shall surely conquer the land. We saw this. They came with a positive report. So that's what happens with us. Sometimes the other people see the positive thing. The other ones see the negative. And the ones who sees negative, they will be devoured, because that's what they said. But the ones with the positive report or positive mindset, they will surely possess the land. So seeing things, imagining, okay, after you imagine, if you're not really convinced that, am I imagining the real thing? See, go and explore this thing that you want to have. Let's say you want to have a car, go to the car dealership. You want to have a house, start browsing the houses on the internet. If you are like, no, this browsing is not working for me, book a viewing with some agent, real estate agents, so that you see how the house feels like, how the house looks like. Check if the soil is fertile. You understand. This thing started with God. It's about time that you, as a child of God, you understand that God is not out there to deprive you. God is not just sitting up there in heaven promising us that when we get to heaven we shall walk in the streets of gold. He wants us to have these things. He wants us to be prosperous. He wants us to live the best life. He has the promise. He wants us to imagine the promise. If we feel like imagining is not enough, he wants us to go and explore, spy the land, go to those places that you really want to live in. Go and see how it looks like, and come back with the samples. Take pictures. Try to feel the atmosphere of where you want to be, okay? There's a God Almighty who doesn't just grant wishes. I mean, he gives you beyond, exceedingly, beyond your imagination. That's how God blesses his children. He will bless you beyond your imagination. Even that big thing that you think is big, he will exceed your imagination. So why would you dream small with genie? Why would you just pray to that small God genie who grant wishes? Why? God gives beyond wishes, okay? What are the practical tips for you to attain the things that you want or recreate the world that you want? Number one, you must pray and seek for guidance. The things that you want, they're all good. But if you take time, let's say you wrote a 10 list of the things that you want in your life, and you take time to pray about them. You say, God, I want a house, I want a car, I want children, I want a dog, I want this, all of them, 10 of them, I want them. God is able to give you guidance on which one to start with. Because he's all-knowing God. He knows the best. He knows what's best for you, okay? So he will give you guidance. I think you should start with a house, or I think you should start with a car because, you're going to work, it's a little bit expensive, it's better with a car. Or I think you should start with this because he will give you guidance because he knows what is best for you. Sometimes he wants to prepare you first before you get something. He wants you to train you. He wants to polish you first before you attain some things. So maybe he will let you achieve certain things. Then maybe next year you will achieve something. You understand? Number two is that you have to believe in the promise of God. If God has promised you something, it doesn't matter how big or it doesn't matter how far it looks like that thing is. If you believe, you will reach or you will accomplish that thing or you will manifest that thing. Okay? When you have received a promise from God, don't change your mind tomorrow. No, you know what, it's fine. Even if God gives me, even if he doesn't, it's fine. Or you're seeing someone with something different, like, in fact, God, I no longer want that one. Your mind is unstable. And the Bible in James, it tells us that anyone who is double-minded will receive nothing from the Lord. I mean, you are double-minded. I mean, today you want it, tomorrow you don't want it. Today you want blue, tomorrow you want red. You need to hold on to the promise of God or that thing that you want, okay? The last practical tip that I would give is imagine big. Imagine bigger things. Don't imagine small things that even you can achieve. I want to buy a pen. If tomorrow, believe God for bigger things. Him himself, he has said, ask for the moon. I mean, have you asked for something so big that you're like, here I'm just asking. I know even myself, I don't know how, where, I don't even have practical tips on how to achieve this thing. Ask big, imagine big. He said you can ask so big and he will still exceed your expectation. He will still exceed your imagination. So don't ask for small things. And as a child of God, it's about time that you live that bigger life. That bigger lifestyle that you want. Guided with God. That bigger lifestyle that you want, you can live it with God. You can live it with God. Everything is possible. And don't try to calculate how you are going to achieve that thing. You are not going to know. You are not God. Let God do his part. Do your part. The practical things that you can do, do them. And then the rest, let it in God's hands. He knows how he's going to, make things work together for your good. He knows how he's going to bring this thing that now people are saying the universe will conspire and bring it to you. God knows how he will make things conspire to work for you. He knows. And you have to understand that you're not going to create today and then tomorrow you have that thing. No. Creating takes time. The things that you want, they take time. It's a process. You don't just want quick things. I just want to be rich tomorrow. I want to have 1 million tomorrow. Then when you don't have it, you are angry at God. These things take time. So I have recommendations that can help you. And number one, go read about the creation. Don't just read to read. Read and try to see how you can also learn how to create things. And remember, you are created in God's image. You have the mind of Christ. You can think like he thinks. You can imagine like he imagines, okay? Another recommendation is go and read about Joshua and Caleb from Numbers chapter 13 and Numbers chapter 14. Try and understand the story, read the story and see, how can I bring this into my life? How can I go and spy the promise that God has promised me? The very thing that God promised you, just If you read that story of Joshua and Caleb, especially the verses I've shared, 17 to 20, you'll understand how you will attain the things that you want to attain. Go check, are there many trees? Check the details of your promise. You understand? The last recommendation, guys, yes, it's the last one. I would recommend you to get this book. It's called Recreating Your World. It's written by Reverend Chris Oyakilome. And I'm not endorsing this book because, this is a man of God that I follow. No. This is a book that will change your whole perspective. And it's so thin, you see. It has like few pages. It is so thin. If you want to know how you can get this book, you can actually comment in the comment section. I'll definitely give you guidance on how you can get this book. You understand? So get this book. He wrote Power of Your Mind, Recreating Your World, a lot of books, and they're transforming people's lives because you need knowledge. How do I do this? How do I recreate? How do I create? You understand? So I'm not endorsing it because it's the book of my man of God. No, I'm endorsing it because this book works. I love you so much, guys. We have come to the end of the episode. I hope you have enjoyed, and always feel free to share your opinions. Let's have a conversation, okay? I love you, and don't forget to subscribe.